variables in Pine script. In this section, we're going to be talking about variables. We'll be covering topics about identifiers, variable types and assignment, even reassignment of variables, variable forms, and reserved variables. So, identifiers are basically just a naming convention used to identify, get it? Identifiers identify user-defined variables and functions. So in this picture below, these are all identifiers here. On the other side, these are just variables being assigned to these identifiers. And each identifier is different. You can call it whatever you want. It's just a label for a variable, so you can refer to it later on. It can also be a function, but these are variables. And you will actually see me refer to these identifiers as variables as we go on. It's kind of interchangeable. Just think of it as identifiers as labels for variables. Okay, so what are identifiers composed of? How do you make one? Well, basically, it's just upper and lowercase letters. You can have an underscore in them, as you can see in this example. You can have digits 0 through 9. The only thing is you can't have digit at the start of an identifier. So there's no example here, but I will show you guys. You can't have like a 1 and then the identifier name. It'll throw an error. Also, these identifiers are case sensitive. So if you have a capital letter in one and not a capital letter, those would be two different identifiers. What types of variables can you assign to identifiers? So integers, floats, strings, these are like sentences, words, characters, anything that you can put in quotes. They can be single quotes or double quotes. Booleans, this is a concept in programming. It's basically only two values, true or false. You can also assign colors to these identifiers, and these are in hexadecimal, or there's a named constant that you can use. Line and labels, those are new to version 4, and I'll show you how to assign those to identifiers. Plots and H-lines, which is horizontal lines, you can also assign those to identifiers. And the NA variable, which is, if you've ever worked with JavaScript, that's the null, and if you've worked with Python, that's none. It works kind of the same way. Alright, so before I bore you guys out of your minds, we're actually going to jump into the Pine editor next, and we'll just go over some more examples.